Which
Olivier.
we should have planned for this card. Have you seen this card? Tomorrow or Saturday's card?
Yes.
This card is crazy.
This is the one in Jacksonville, isn't it?
I don't know.
Because my brother's going to it.
Oh, well.
It's the one with Korean Zombie, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Korean Zombie versus Volkanovski.
Mm-hmm.
You got Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan,
mm-hmm.
That's been brewing forever. And then you got Hamzat versus finally an opponent that makes sense, Gilbert Burns.
Right.
This is a nutso card. Nutso.
Yes.
And I'm mad. I'm going to try to pull up a stream. Wow.
Yeah, you should.
Definitely going to try.
Might as well.
All right. Let's get into this. Let's rock and roll all night in your home.
I've been watching the free UFC fights they put on YouTube, the classic ones.
Yeah.
So I've been in the mood.
That's how I get. That's how I get through. Well, before my parents took the. What's this guy? Elliptical.
Yeah.
We had one, and they took it. It was theirs. They didn't. They didn't take it.
They
it.
took it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how I would get through like 30 to 45 minutes.
Yeah.
It's just you forget what you're doing because you're so. I would watch like all the John Jones fights and stuff.
Yeah.
They have like good fights on YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I watched a lot of the old ones that I like grew up watching.
Yeah.
Ken Shamrock.
Oh, you went real classic.
You
went
like 5.
Yeah.
The UFC 5.
Yeah.
You know, those were good.
Those when the guys were still wearing shoes.
Yeah. And no gloves.
Yeah.
And then
Gouging eyes.
Yeah. Well, last night I saw one where I forget who he was fighting. Tito Ortiz lost.
Fuck Tito Ortiz.
I know. Somebody said, you know that they put this one up on purpose.
Yeah.
So
just to watch him lose.
Yeah.
I love it.
It's a good time. It's good.
All right. I'm not cutting any of that out. What's up, Brewskis? My name is Marco Dupa. That guy right there, that's Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
What's up, Internet?
Tonight's brew is from the Dune Brewing.
Dunes.
Or Dune Brewery. Is it brewery or
Dunes
Dune?
Brewing.
Dunes Brewing.
Yes.
Out there in
Port Orange.
Port Orange. So this is a local gal, but not super local for us. Adam went out there with Sherry. You like that?
Yeah. It's a good accent. Yeah.
And they brought back some goodies for the show, so we're going to get into both of these bad boys. But before we do that, we got to get into the show. What's on tap? We got, goodness gracious. The Grammys were this weekend or this prior weekend.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And not much to show for any kind of real controversies, except for a couple of things.
Oh, you're following the Oscars. I mean, how are you going to follow that up?
It's kind of hard, but the Grammys, they
they figured it out.
Yeah, they figured it out.
Yeah.
We got that. We got Donald Glover interviewing himself in what I believe was Interview Magazine and asking himself some pretty peculiar questions and making some very grandiose statements. So we got to talk about that. Mm-hmm. And last but not least, our favorite shitposter / billionaire who could solve world's hunger with a snap of his finger like Thanos, and instead he decided to basically buy Twitter. He bought himself onto the board.
Yeah.
We have to mention it.
It's a very expensive board.
I don't think we're going to be able to post this on Twitter. Yeah. It seems like he's omnipotent on there now.
Yeah.
All that and maybe more. We'll find out on this episode of the One Beer In podcast.
Oh, big can.
That's what she said. I don't know how that works, man. A man.
Thanks. Set of con. That is a film I'd like to see at Cannes.
That's funny. It's Good joke.
Thank you.
That's good joke.
That is good joke.
Good joke.
It's a good soup.
It's good soup. All right. This is the One Beer In podcast, the podcast where two brews crack open two brews, and we see where those one brew or two.
Those one brews
take us. This is episode 349. Always and forever. Thank you guys for listening, joining, subscribing, commenting, all
interacting.
That jazz. Cheers.
Cheers.
That's a multi-bev.
Mm-hmm.
Multi-bev. I had this lady come into my job, and I swear to God, I let her taste every sour that we have on draft, and she was just like, they all just taste really malty to me. Just really malty. And I was just like,
okay.
I don't know what to do for you.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. So sometimes you get people who do that, and I'm like,
is this a challenge to you?
You have to know that this isn't a fun interaction for me, right? Like like imagine, because sometimes they'll like she did that, and another lady came in, looked at the menu, and
she called a friend.
She's like, hey, can you come? I'm ruining this guy's day. Do you mind coming in here and helping me do this? Because he looks like he's really, really hating this, and I'm just getting off on it.
I'm telling him they're all really malty when they're not.
And they're not. So she does that. She doesn't like any of the sours on draft. Then another lady came in, and she looked at the menu and just straight up turned her nose up at it and was like, none of this looks appealing. And it's like, can you imagine like walking into a restaurant and looking at the menu and just being like, this all looks fucking disgusting. Bring me something. Like, or like going to your friend's house and you're just like, everything you have in your pantry looks like shit. Make something for me.
Right. Figure it out.
I just want to be like, then leave. Honestly, leave.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the only thing you can do is say, well, we have more stuff in cans and bottles.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, I try to upsell them on anything that I can. I mean, you know, like the one girl, she ended up getting a Duchess, and which to me is like the maltiest sour you could get, but you know, that's neither here nor there. Whatever. But people's palates are weird.
Sure.
But that's the other thing. People try to tell me, you know, this is what I like, so find something for me. And I was like, okay. Well, sometimes, like, I haven't had every single beer in the world. I mean, I've had a lot, and so
this show's a testament to that.
And I try to lean in a direction, but sometimes when people say stuff to me, I'm just like, here, drink all of this and then pick one, because I can't help you. Like, one guy came in and was like, what's the bitterest thing that you have here? And I'm like, what?
You're looking at it.
I'm just like, I don't know. I don't think of it in those terms. You know, I've never even thought about like, what's the bitterest thing that we have at the bar? It's just weird. Why would you want that?
I don't know.
Why is that what you, who?
I love a nice bitter IPA, but I wouldn't look for the most bitter
right,
IPA.
And it's not, I mean, there's more to it than just the IBU on it.
Well, maybe it's like you going to a typical restaurant, or like I would say an American style restaurant, and asking for the spiciest thing they have.
For sure.
You know, because generally you're not going to get anything that spicy.
Yeah.
So maybe that's his thing, where he's used to getting not very bitter, so-called bitter beers.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just, I mean, even within that example, if I were to get something, they brought it out and they were like, that's probably the spiciest thing on the menu. And I ate it and I was like, it's not that spicy. Like, what is the waiter supposed to do with that information?
Yep.
Like, if I could go back and I could change how the beer tasted on the fly, like a cook, then maybe you would have an argument. But if you're like, not bitter enough, then it's like, all right, well, then I'll go fuck myself. I don't know what else to do here. This conversation's over.
Fine, sir. You've beaten me.
Exactly. You win.
I will open the chest down here and give you the real bitterest beer.
Yeah. That's like if you brought me a chicken sandwich that you said was the spiciest, and I was like, that's not that spicy. And then it's like, all right, well, then this is over. But
yeah.
All right.
Okay. I'll see you later.
Make it yourself. I don't know what
Good luck. Good luck out there.
All you people are terrorists. You know, that's all I have. You're all just
This
terrorists.
man's facing emotional terrorism day in, day out.
Day in and day out.
Just like your beer, man.
God, yeah, just drink it and enjoy it. Like, you do this to me.
Very least, tip him well.
Oh, that's a whole other podcast, baby. That's
Okay.
a whole other.
All right,
podcast.
we'll move on.
Let's
We'll
do
move on.
it. Let's do it. So, we just gotta get right into it. Let's pull up some of the winners of this year's Grandmas.
Oh, really quick.
The grandmas.
First, I should say we are having.
Oh, sorry. Yes, thank you. Good call.
We're having the
Please.
black lager first, which is at a 5.3% ABV. Again, this is one of the two we got from Dunes Brewing out of Port Orange, Florida.
Port Orange, Florida. Cool.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Mhm.
You want to talk a little bit about Dunes? 'Cause,
Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Pretty cool that they even attempted a triple. Which
Yes.
spoiler alert.
Yeah, which is our next one. But yeah, no, it's super conveniently located off the main road, on the way to the beach, and
Beach.
it's really has really cool, as you'd expect, beachy vibes. And the one thing I will say that's a knock against it is that they don't have a very big beer list. They really only have a handful of beers. It's like maybe 6 or 7. Don't have a guest beer list. I think Red Light has kind of, spoiled me a little bit,
Yeah.
where I would like that. But, the ones I had were solid. The main thing that I noticed for most of them was that they were very drinkable, which is what you want by the beach.
Yep.
And it's kind of cool, too, because they're linked up with a, what's it called? What's the taco place? Jimmy Hula's. They have a Jimmy Hula's right next door.
Yeah, the taco place.
Jimmy John's, the famous taco place. Jimmy John's.
Jimmy John's.
Yeah, so there's a Jimmy Hula's right there, so they can send you food over if you're hungry.
That's what's up.
It's a really cool spot. I highly recommend it if you're out in the beach in that area, and you can just stop by afterwards and grab a couple brewskis, get some tacos, and chill out. Yeah, I liked it.
Jimmy Hula's is the shit. Side note, speaking of Jimmy Hula's, I was talking to my cousin Robin. Shout out to Robin.
Shout out to Robin.
This motherfucker, because, I frequently have conversations about the best burger with anyone who will listen or debate.
Yeah.
He said that he prefers the Jimmy Hula burger over Five Guys. I wanted to kick him out of my car while it was still moving.
Well, we're talking the Jimmy Hula burger with the slice of pineapple.
Yeah. It's a good burger.
And teriyaki, like that. I think it's a teriyaki burger.
I think that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope he's not just talking about one of their just
the basic
basic
burger,
joints. Yeah.
It's a good burger. I've had it before. Yeah.
It is a good burger. I'm no knock on Jimmy Hula's. I like Jimmy Hula's.
Yeah.
But it's not
Not
it's
the best
just,
burger.
It's not
not
Five
the,
Guys.
It's not. Yeah, it's not the best burger.
It's not
I'll
Five
tell you that
Guys.
much.
Sorry. It's just not. It's just not. Okay, so I have some of the winners pulled up here from the 64th annual Grammys. We're not going to go through all of them because that would be exhausting. But the big winners, Latin pop album of the year. No.
Reggae album.
Reggae album, Beauty in the Silence. Let's see. Music video, melodic rap performance, which I thought was just what a strange category that they've created over these past couple years.
Yeah.
They're just doing.
Is that like their new urban?
Yeah, because the only people nominated are. I mean, I guess it's a way to catch, like the new like trap, like I don't call it trap soul, but like. It's kind of hard to describe, but like it's the way that like a lot of younger rappers rap now. Over trap beats, they're basically just what?
My brain's the worst. You said trap soul, and I thought Ghostbusters.
Jeez, what?
I don't know.
But if you look at the nominees, you got Ye for Hurricane, which won, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Doja Cat. So funny he won 2 Grammys. Yay. After all the shit. Well, Young Boy Never Broke Again was nominated. Lil Baby, Lil Nas X. So it kind of gives you a good idea, if you know any of those artists, like what a melodic rap performance is. So the biggest award, the opera recording of the year. All right, I'll stop with the misdirection. Let me get to Song of the Year and Record of the Year, both won by Silk Sonic for Leave the Door Open.
Very nice.
They beat some pretty big nominees, if you're looking here. Ed Sheeran.
Oh, no. Ed
Alicia
Sheeran.
Keys.
No.
Billie Eilish. Justin Bieber. Olivia Rodrigo. She won Best New Artist, even though she's been around for about 4 years. They always do that for some reason. Rap Album of the Year won 2 times in a row now by Tyler, the Creator, which I am not mad at.
Me neither.
I believe that it was between Call Me If You Get Lost and King's Disease.
Uh-huh.
But I do believe, and I think we talked about this. It was definitely on my list of the best album of last year. So I think Call Me If You Get Lost definitely deserved to win.
Yeah, I think so too. A lot of people are upset that Nas didn't win. Apparently he had a really good performance at the Grammys. And so I've seen headlines like Nas won the Grammys even without winning the award itself.
Yeah.
So,
whatever.
You know.
Call Me If You Get Lost is better than King's Disease. I said it. I think King's Disease is a good album. I think that Magic, Nas's throwaway album between King Disease 2 and 3, is better than King Disease 2. Magic is I think Magic is amazing.
I agree. I think it's great. I still think I like King's Disease 2 a little bit more, but I respect that opinion.
So we go up to New Artist, and it's funny. She was nominated against a couple of people who, again, have been around. Yeah. The only one that really is legitimate to me is probably Phineas, because he put out his debut album by himself. Like, he's been working with his sister.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. But
Baby Keem, we're on his second album.
Japanese Breakfast,
she's on her third album.
Yeah.
Arlo Parks. Oh, Arlo Parks is...
Yeah, I could see that.
Probably should have given it to Arlo Parks.
Glass Animals has been around for a long time.
Glass Animals has been around for... Yeah.
Weird.
Very strange. Pop duo group... No, fuck that. I mean, Doja Cat and SZA won, which is good. Congratulations to them.
You couldn't take the second to say who won.
Sorry. I didn't mean to minimize it.
No.
And then the winner for Album of the Year, beating out Billie Eilish, Olivia Rodrigo, Doja Cat, Lady Gaga, Taylor Swift, Justin Bieber, Travis Scott, or I'm sorry, not Travis Scott, Ye, I don't know Travis Scott's names first, Chris Brown, and Ariana Grande is Jean Baptiste for We Are, which apparently was very well received.
Yeah.
And I just I don't know. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I mean, without having heard it before, I've seen something that seems to make sense to me, which is the Grammys aren't a popularity contest. So I've seen a lot of people saying, like, how are they going to make this album of the year? Like, nobody's ever heard of this thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that doesn't really matter if the right people are listening to it, right?
I guess you say that, and yet the problem with that premise is that sometimes it is a popularity contest and sometimes it isn't. You know, sometimes artists will win and you're just like, man, they just really... I mean, obviously, if you know me or if you've been following this show, I am aware that I have ignored my fiery hatred for the Grammys to even talk about this.
Right. This is a gift to you.
Yeah, you guys are welcome. And, I mean, okay, so I just looked up We Are, the Jean-Baptiste album that won. And on the wiki page, he has 4 reviews from notable review sites. Spill Magazine gave it a 4.5. Rolling Stone gave it a 3.5. AllMusic a 4.5, and Albumism
I haven't heard that one.
gave it a 4. So Not to say that he needs a beefed up wiki page to prove that he deserved to win, because I haven't even listened to the album, so I'm not gonna shit on the fact. Like, maybe it did deserve to win.
Sure, yeah. I'm not trying to talk about it because I haven't heard it yet. So,
only thing it's just, I don't know. It's one of those. It just feels like the Grammys and the Oscars do this when they just have a gimme year where they're just like, this guy probably, I mean, this is his 8th album, so I'm sure Jean-Baptiste has probably put out an album that deserved to win Album of the Year, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Could be, yeah.
A black person hasn't won Album of the Year since Herbie Hancock in 2008 for another jazz album.
Mm-hmm.
He's also a jazz pianist, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I said that like I didn't know. I've listened to Herbie Hancock 1,000 times. And that is, number one, a fucking crime. Not just because a black person just needs to win, but just think about from 2008 to 2022, you're telling me not one black artist put out an album that was good enough to be Album of the Year? Think about that. Think about the fact that black music runs the industry. Black artists move the culture, and yet for 2 decades almost, not one, not Beyonce, not Kendrick, not, I mean, Jean-Baptiste, I know he's put out a Jay-Z.
I don't mean to minimize this win, right? But at the same time, it shows that there is potentially, at least, some kind of bias as far as genre goes within black music.
Oh yeah, 1,000%. Yes.
Because again, only 2 albums in history at this point, right, have won, or since 2008, I should say.
Yeah, since 2008. Because before that, ironically enough, the last black artist to win was Outkast for Love Below Speaker Box.
Okay. Which, again,
and that was the only rap album to win Album of the Year ever.
And
still,
if you think of that album in context, that is their least hip hop
very
album.
Much so. Yeah.
So my point in saying all that is just that jazz is this time-honored, respected by the mainstream, air quotes, genre of music.
Yeah.
So therefore, it is acceptable for a black person to win for that genre of music.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't give it to a Jay-Z,
right?
For instance, you know,
even if he deserved it, you just, I mean, Taylor Swift basically owned that award for like 3 years in a row.
And it, at the end of the day, I mean, hip hop's become pop, right? Mm-hmm. So like, it's all pop music.
Yeah.
Generally.
Yeah. For
the most part. Mm-hmm. Rock's pop for sure.
Yeah.
So, it should be bundled under the same purview that we're all grading these things on.
I can remember vividly thinking there are, as I'm thinking about it, there are 3 instances in which I thought for sure a black artist would win. I thought Beyonce was definitely going to win for Lemonade. I thought if you asked me, I would have put a very significant amount of money on her winning for Lemonade.
Yeah. And
I thought Kendrick Lamar would definitely win for To Pimp a Butterfly, and he didn't, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then I thought for sure Frank Ocean would have won for either Blonde or Channel Orange. I thought Channel Orange because it made such a splash when he finally came out with the album. He had that great, well, not great, it was kind of fucked up performance, but I just was like, I just don't know how he doesn't win that. I don't know. I thought those 3 are the ones that come to my mind where like I thought they were a shoo-in. It's crazy that they didn't win it.
Just for reference, 11 black artists have won Album of the Year at the Grammys. They are Stevie Wonder.
Wait. Hold on.
Okay.
He won in 70, 77 and...
Uh-huh.
Oh, no. He did this is his classic era. Give me a second.
Okay.
Do they say the albums?
I'm sure they do. Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Key of Life.
Yes. 77. Yep.
Inner Visions?
Of course. That was 74. You're missing one in the middle.
Oh. between Intervisions and fulfilling this final finale.
First finale, Final Fantasy.
Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was in 75.
Yeah.
Filling This's first finale is 75. Then we have MJ in 84.
Yeah.
For Thriller, obviously. 85's Lionel Richie.
No way.
for Can't Slow Down.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah. 91, Quincy Jones. For Back on the Block. 92, Natalie Cole. For Unforgettable with Love. 94, Whitney Houston. For the Bodyguard soundtrack. It's interesting. I mean, it's obvious why.
That's I don't know. I'd have to look at the nominees that year.
Yeah. 99, Lauryn Hill for Miseducation.
Of course, yeah.
04, Outkast, like you were saying. For Speaker Box, Love Below. 05, they finally gave it to Ray Charles.
Yeah, for Genius Loves Company, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And 08, Herbie Hancock for River, the Joni Letters, and of course that brings us up to date with Jean Baptiste.
Just think about like all those artists you named. I mean, I hate to keep bringing back Taylor Swift, but fuck her, so I don't care.
Okay.
Like, you're really telling me that she has...
How many wins does she have for Album of the Year?
She didn't win this year for Evermore, but she's won for 22, I think, and then Evermore, or I'm sorry, not Evermore, Red, and if I'm not mistaken, I think she has 3 Grammys for Album of the Year.
Right.
I could be wrong. Maybe look that up before I like really embarrass myself about like. I know she's won more than she deserves. I'll tell you that. Yeah, Folklore.
Let's just look at the list of nominations she's received.
Ooh, yucky.
Oh, God. There's so many. There are so many.
There's too many.
Yeah.
Academy of Country. Yeah, just go past that. That's all country.
Oh, okay. I see.
How it is, yeah.
Let's get to the Grammys. The ones that
Grams.
matter. There we go.
Yeah. Yeah, she won for Red, 1989.
Fearless. No, it's a single, right?
No, that's the album.
Fearless?
Fearless.
Oh, okay.
Fearless. No. She didn't win for Red. She was only nominated. So Fearless, 1989. That's 2. And then Folklore. Yeah. So that's 3. That's 3. Red, Fearless. No, I'm sorry. Fearless, 1989, and Folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Now, listen. I don't listen to Taylor Swift. I've heard enough.
You have,
and
though,
I got
right?
No. I've listened to a lot of Taylor Swift. I'm saying like I don't sit down and consistently listen.
Yeah,
to
you don't return to Taylor Swift.
But I got it. I understand why she gets the respect that she gets. I'm not going to sit here. We're not going to do this. Not today. We're not going to do this.
Not to the Swifties.
Nah.
We can't do that to the Swifties.
But what I'm saying is, you're sitting here, you're going to look me dead in my eyes, and you're going to tell me that she deserved 3 Album of the Year awards, and black people had to wait from 2008 to get another jazz album
and
to win?
Beyonce got nothing?
Nothing.
Yeah.
Telling me Beyonce... Come on. Come on, son. Come on. Rihanna deserved for shit. What was that album? The fucking last album before she disappeared.
Yeah.
Anti?
Was that the last one?
Is that what it's called? Anti?
Yeah, I think so.
That album's incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That album is incredible. Anti.
Yeah. No, in 16.
I don't know how she didn't win. I don't know. Anyway, we've gone off the really far away from
it's true. It's very true. Anyway.
And that wasn't even the most controversial thing that happened that night. You got the prerequisite Will Smith, Chris Rock jokes.
Of course.
Which I thought was really funny. They had Nate Bargatze deliver. And I don't know. I mean, he's definitely famous. I just didn't think he was like, Grammy Awards host
famous,
but I guess so.
Good for him.
Good for him.
Funny guy.
I just don't see how he doesn't already have a sitcom, where he's the patriarch of some family and he's bumbling around,
he
la
had to
Tim
have been
Allen.
offered. He had to have been offered at this point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They've got to be beating down his door to make a show about him, his material, and his family. It's just he has to be saying no.
Yeah.
I mean, you can see it. You can see it right now. It's called The Tennessee Kid, and it's about him and his
family.
Yeah, his put upon wife and the bumbling dumb husband and the wisecracking jokes and he's got like a black neighbor or a Spanish neighbor and they always pop in. You like that, right? That's good material. Telling you, man, this fucking show writes itself.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's probably. I mean, he seems to be a guy who is like his material is subtly like real. I wouldn't call it highbrow, but it's like his jokes are really smart.
Yeah.
For being like these everyman, I'm just doing the best that I can kind of guy.
I mean this as a compliment, I swear. He sounds dumber than he is.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think he knows that. A lot of his material is about that.
Yeah.
I think he's really good.
Yeah. So maybe
check out the stand-up.
Yeah. And then for some reason the Grammys have, I don't even know why the Grammys even still have an award for best comedy album. Just seems really, I don't know. I'm glad that comedy gets awarded at the biggest musical award show in America, but just seems strange that they even still have a Grammy for album of the year, for comedy album of the year. And it is even stranger than in a year where Bo Burnham put out Inside and absolutely just crushed the world with his album.
He won something for that, right?
Wasn't he nominated this year? Or was that last year?
I felt like he won. No, it was definitely this year, but I felt like he won something for that. I don't know what.
I thought he won. Maybe he won an Oscar? No, he didn't win an Oscar.
I'm looking it up.
Yeah. Because now it's going to...
So he won the Grammy for song written for visual media. For All Eyes on Me.
Okay.
That's what he won for. Yeah. So
song written
for
visual
media. Yeah.
How does, by the way, I'm going through the nominees. How does John Baptiste not win for R&B album, but gets album of the year? You see, this is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This is like when Jane Champion won Best Director, but she didn't get Best Movie. That doesn't make any sense. You're telling me she was the best director of the year, but her film that she directed wasn't the best movie of the year? There's no words in the English language that you could string together that would make that make sense to me.
Well.
Try.
Okay.
As I look.
So, for specifically the Oscars, let's say, her directing was stellar, okay? But there were things lacking in the movie outside of her direction.
But how can that even be possible?
Maybe and I'm not saying this is true, but maybe somebody didn't like the costuming or the lighting or the music choices, like things not directly dealing with where the camera is placed and, the overall film itself.
I hate that.
Yeah. Well, because directing is such a obscure kind of phrase or title anyway.
Yeah.
Because it's like, okay, what are we talking about? Are we talking about how she pictured the film in her head versus how it came out? Or are we talking about how it's cut? No, we're not, because there's editing.
Right.
Are we talking about, character choices and dialogue? No, because there's writing for that. There's scripts. What are we talking about here?
Right.
Ultimately, what is it? It's directing, I think, in its simplest term, is sort of the collection of everything and your ability to direct everyone to do what you want them to do.
Right. And so if it is a collective showcase of this person's vision, and you thought that her vision was the best of the year, I just don't see how you can't.
Yeah.
How another movie can surpass that.
I see how you can weasel your way out of it, but at the same time, it's very hard to do that.
I think the only reason that they do it is so that you can't say that, so that you can't predict. Let's say if somebody wins Director of the Year, you can't just like turn your TV off because you know they're going to win.
Sure.
Movie of the year.
It can't be a shoo-in as soon as somebody wins Director, and most of the time it's not. You know,
no, it's not.
I think that's pretty clear.
But but that is insane to me. I understand somebody else could win screenplay, adapted. You got actors who act their ass off in bad movies, so those people can win those awards. I get all that, the individual awards. But if you're telling me that this person who presided over this production, you thought they did that the best, but then you were like, yeah, but the movie wasn't that great. It's like, well, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's like it's like being CEO of the year and then your company not winning Company of the Year.
Right. It's like, well, what duties did this person perform that were so good that individually you thought that they did well, but the thing that they were presiding over and working on wasn't good enough. It just doesn't. I don't know. It just doesn't make any sense to me.
They know what they're doing.
It's like if there was an award for dialogue and then an award for screenplay, but those two people didn't win. You don't have a dialogue award, probably because it doesn't make sense. Like I think Best Director and Best Movie. I mean, obviously you can't make them one category, but if you win Best Movie of the Year, doesn't that inherently make you the Best Director of the Year? Because you're getting that Oscar.
I would think more times than not, yes. I can see where people can make the argument that the direction's great, but even if it's something like sort of indescribable, this movie's better. I think this is a better movie ultimately.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
I
don't like it.
I
don't like it.
Agreed.
All right. I need you to look up something for me while I have this pulled up, because
all right,
as I'm looking at this, Bo Burnham's not even nominated.
Wow.
So maybe he was nominated last year. So look up the 63rd annual. These are the 64th, right? Yeah. Look up. Just put Bo Burnham 63rd annual. See if that pulls up. Yeah. No. Wait.
No, that's for this year. Because he
wasn't even nominated. He wasn't even nominated.
Yeah.
So the nominees are... where'd he go? Oh, fuck. I went all the way back up. You got Evolution, Chelsea Handler. Speaking of Nate Bargatze, Greatest Average American. Zero Fucks Given, Kevin Hart. Thanks for Risking Your Life by Lewis Black. And the winner, sincerely, Louis C.K. And this did not sit well with a lot of people.
Yeah.
But
why?
Why? Well, I'll tell you.
Why would anyone be uncomfortable with Louis C.K.?
Well, I mean, that kind of brings us to a little thing called cancel culture.
Oh, I haven't heard of that.
I'm sure you haven't.
Explain.
I will. Cancel culture is when a white man does something heinous or fucked up, and they disappear for 3 to 6 months, and then they come back and they do everything that they were already doing, except for maybe with a slightly smaller fan base, sometimes with a larger fan base, with people defending their actions.
Depends, yeah.
Even when collectively we all decided that those actions were heinous at the time, and having sometimes the same amount or maybe even more success than before the canceling. That is, in a nutshell, cancel culture.
Okay.
Did I get that?
Thank you. Yeah, that's good.
Listen, I mean, I personally have not like looked up any of Louis C.K.'s material. I didn't download this off his website or any of that stuff. I just I'm like, nah. Because honestly, I just don't think he's that funny anymore. That like all of the moral implications aside, if you watch him now, I just don't think he hits those same highs that he hit at his peak.
Well, and I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that he doesn't really have the freedom to do that anymore. He does have the freedom to do that, I should say. He can say whatever he wants to say. But I think he gets away with a lot less now. Yeah. Everything is under far tighter scrutiny.
Yeah.
Given everything.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, for me, there's just a weight to watching him now because of everything that's happened. Now, if the people directly affected by what he did, feel satisfied with his little time out of the spotlight and the money
timeout.
the timeout and the money he lost, that's great. And I'm not saying if he deserves more public sort of vilification or punishment of any kind.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like it still weighs on my ability to enjoy his work.
Yeah.
And that's coming from somebody who really loved his comedy before. He was one of our favorite guys.
Yeah.
I remember when all these allegations came out the first time, like we were both like, not you. Come on.
Oh, dude, it was devastating. Devastating.
Yeah. Which sounds very selfish.
It is selfish.
We know.
But it is selfish, but it's like we gotta be honest. Like we're big Louis C.K. guys, man. We fucking sung his praises on this show and off,
right,
all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, everything that he put out, we watched the show. His show was amazing. Like man.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it is selfish to think like just how this affected me.
I can't enjoy this content anymore.
Yeah, but it is what it is. That's
sure.
So, yeah, I we're not the arbiters of who deserves what, especially when it comes. I mean, first of all, like you said, it's going to come down to the people most closely affected by this, and then also, the court of public opinion. The thing is, do you, as an institution, wade into those waters and not only nominate him for an award, but award him with that award? It's like a lot of people, I don't know, man. It's just crazy to me that like you see all these people who are like, they could have very easily just changed the Oscar for Best Actor after Will Smith did what he did. And it's like, okay, so when this person does an act that you don't agree with, you can on the fly change who wins an award to your liking so that this person doesn't get rewarded. But a person like Louis C.K. still drowning in controversy, you are under this like, well, art should win out regardless of the situation kind of line of thinking. It has to be one or the other. You have to be able to set those things aside. The classic separating the art from the artist conversation.
Yeah, we just went over that.
And if you're able to do that, then you have to do it across the board. You can't be upset with Louis, and you also can't be upset with Will Smith winning. You have to accept that. You can't turn around and I can't believe he did that. He doesn't. You got to take his Oscar away. Really? That's convenient.
Yeah, well, and that's the big thing that people have been kind of, rebuttaling, if that's a word. Rebuttaling Louis C.K.'s win here is that there's still this notion that Will Smith could be stripped of his Oscar, and he's, I mean, a lot of his current and future plans are being put on pause, which I don't think is going to last. There's
I
no
don't
way
think that's gonna last.
No.
This is money these studios are gonna be giving up just to like play the moral high ground.
No, it's not going to last. He is currently in recovery mode. Mm-hmm. There's a cool off period, and then everyone's going to welcome Will Smith right back into our hearts and minds.
Well,
it's going to be fine.
I mean, ask Louis C.K. about that.
Well, I feel like there is a tinge of something weird when it comes to sexual allegations.
yeah, it might be a little different.
Slap's a little different than FAP.
Nice.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like to shoot from the hip.
Yeah, that's great.
It's like Louis C.K.
One more for the one time. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. Like, I again, since neither of us has listened to that Louis C.K. special, can't really talk to the quality of it.
I watched like, I don't know, 8 minutes of it, or five or 8 minutes of it, like whatever was posted on YouTube to try to advertise it.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was just like, meh. And then I've heard some of his like comeback material from like recordings of like when he would hit like the cellar or whatever.
Oh, sure. Well, the big controversy about like
definitely, yeah.
What was he even talking about?
Well, the way that he came back and addressed it, but there was something else that he talked about very quickly.
Yeah, he talked about like a current event of some kind and was like a shooting or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. But
I don't know. Just at the end of the day, it's just kind of icky. You know, it's kind of weird to be like everything. I don't know. I mean, I don't know, dude.
It's tough. It's tough because like he's not in jail. Whatever he did obviously wasn't. I won't say bad enough, but like wasn't able to get him in trouble with the law.
Yeah.
Not to minimize anything, any of the victims in this entire thing, but at the same time, I think that leaves his story in this very weird kind of, I don't know, obscure, like cloudy place.
Yeah.
Because you can say, well, what he did wasn't that bad. He deserves a second chance. He's apologized for what he's done. He didn't really ever hurt anybody. Like I've seen it all online, obviously.
Yeah.
But then there's obviously the other side of this entire thing where people are like, no, I'm never gonna give him any more money.
Yeah. No, I mean, you have to like think about the women who feel like the women who he actually did this to, that they are still like, traumatized by, and they're still kind of like reeling from not just coming out with this information, but the blowback and the fallout of. I mean, there has to be situations where these women comedians are not being booked or being like heckled and whatnot because
look at a comment section anywhere.
Oh yeah,
they're clout chasing. They're just out to cancel them.
Right.
They're mad because they're not big like Louis was.
So you have to think about going through all of that, and then 2 years, maybe it was like probably like 2 years later, because this was pre-pandemic when he did all this.
Mm-hmm.
For him to come back and win a Grammy, to be rewarded, you I don't know, that has to be pretty fucking hard to swallow.
Sure.
Watching that, but again, the conversation really does fall down to at where do you draw the line? How is it the level of crime that this person commits? Is it the admission of guilt? Is it the apology and like how sincere the apology is?
Right.
All of those
time away.
Does that, because it feels like to a certain contingent that there is no quote unquote time away. Like that's it.
Sure.
Once they do this thing, they're done in the eyes of
done forever.
Yeah. There's no coming back, and when they do come back, it is proof positive that there's no such thing as cancel culture.
Yeah.
And then in some people's eyes, you separate the art from the artist, and no matter what that person does, if it's good, you just have to acknowledge the fact that like they're still an incredible artist. But then on the other hand, it's like, well, I mean, if Hitler could write a symphony with his eyes closed, would you still separate the art from the artist?
Yeah. He could paint, like are you seeing his art being respected and put in the Louvre?
Right.
Even if it was better than it is, because it's, by all accounts, pretty standard art.
Yeah.
If it was,
let's say he was a master painter.
yeah, if he did like the Mona Lisa,
Yeah.
people could still admire the art, sure, but it would be under this cloud of, historic villainy.
Yeah. I don't, and
Not to say Louis C.K.'s Hitler, obviously.
No. I'm going to say this, and I'm probably going to go back on this at some point in my life. So I'm just kind of like sowing the seeds on that.
Great.
But I don't think that you can actually separate the art from the artist. I think people who say that just want to be able to continue to enjoy their favorite artists and ignore the heinous things that they've done without the guilt of admitting that you were ignoring those things. Because I think emotionally, I just think it's impossible because of, say, for instance, these examples that we just brought up with like Hitler. And I think that if you ask a separate the art from the artist person, they would tell you like, well, I mean, Hitler's a different story. And it's like, yeah, but he's not though. Because that's the point. This person committed a crime.
It's the ultimate example.
It is.
Yeah.
And he's always the ultimate example of evil, the highest evil that we can, as Americans anyway, think of. I'm sure other countries probably.
Yeah, I think most would agree.
Yeah, but so yeah, I may be going to the furthest end of the spectrum that I can to make a point, but the point still stands that you understand that there is a certain level to separating the art from the artist. So in my eyes, I don't know how. I don't think that there is a line drawn. I think that it's just like it is what it is. You from an individual or to each individual rather, that line is going to be further or closer. But I don't think that you can actually separate the art from the artist. I think it's impossible.
Okay.
I think emotionally it's just impossible. That thing has to weigh on you. I loved R. Kelly. Loved R. Kelly. Yeah. And that thing, even when those songs come on by mistake, that thing just weighs on them. It just weighs on them. Of course. I still love Michael Jackson, and I'm a Michael Jackson apologist. I'm one of those people that tells you, hey, man, read the court documents. Watch all the documentaries.
Never charged.
I still think that I maintain the man's innocence. I still think that he was a very strange human being. I mean,
I don't think anyone's arguing against that. Yeah.
But I just don't think that he did the things that he was accused of doing. Now, I've had multiple people in my life who go, well, you just say that because you love him so much that like it's easy for you to make those arguments. No person who is just a casual Michael Jackson fan would make those arguments. They would see the evidence and go, yeah, he's a freak. So I am one of those people. I think there is an emotion attached to things that you enjoy. I just think it's impossible to really separate the art from the artist.
Yeah, I'll say this and we can move on. But I think it depends on what you sort of define accepting the art. Because I think it's very possible to be like, R. Kelly's I Believe I Can Fly is an incredible song.
Yeah.
Like, it's still, if you listen to it and you had no idea what happened with R. Kelly, incredible song, right? Among many incredible songs that he sang. I can still sit here with a straight face and say those are incredible works of art. That, to me, is what separating the art from the artist is being able to go, okay, it's not that I don't like these songs anymore. It's just that I don't like the person associated with them. So therefore I can choose, I'm not going to listen to them anymore. Or I'm not going to give this person money anymore. Or I'm not going to, give this person a platform anymore. Or I'm not going to listen to this in public so people can hear me listening to it and it gives more publicity or whatnot. I think that is separating art from the artist. I think that's very possible because I'm able to do that. But
I think that is the truest definition of it. But I believe that the way that people use it now is separating the art from the artist means supporting that person going forward after the
looking
heinous
past
things that they've
everything
done.
and just continuing to be a fan.
Yeah.
Sure.
So who knows? What are you guys' thoughts on the Louis C.K.? Did you watch his latest stand-up? Did you go to his website and actually put your money down and support this person? Because that's the other thing. If you fly-by-night motherfuckers are just talking shit and haven't actually, listened to the bit or actually downloaded the shit, actually put your money where your mouth is, you're not fighting for him, No. It's people who are on Twitter who are like, he did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
He asked permission. He deserves his spotlight back, blah, blah, blah. All right. I don't see you going to his shows. I don't see you buying his...
And you got to believe there's a contingent of people who are only verbally supporting him because they're, quote, anti-cancel culture.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they use him. They prop him and his thing up as like a example of cancel culture. And yet he wins Grammy for Album of the Year.
Grammy.
So he wins the Grammy. All right, we spent...
a lot of time on
an
the
hour.
Yeah, I know.
An hour.
That's why I was saying let's move on.
Oh man, way too much time.
Too much.
Way too much time.
We'll zoom through the rest.
Sorry, we spent so
okay.
much time on that.
There's lots to talk about.
So, speaking of the Grammys and people who maybe should have won, maybe didn't win, maybe who knows, maybe this guy will get a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Grammys if you let him give it to himself.
It sounds like it.
Donald Glover, also known as Childish
Gambino,
had an interview where he interviewed himself.
I'm gonna verify he interviewed himself for Interview Magazine because that just sounds silly.
Yeah, look it up. I don't know if it was for Interview Magazine, but I know he interviewed himself, which is already a silly enough premise. And yet, how can you... It's amazing to be able to...
No, you're right.
Interview Magazine?
Yep.
It's amazing to mire yourself in controversy when you picked out the questions and then you picked out the answers. It's incredible.
Is this something they do? Like, they have people interview themselves?
I don't know. I do know Interview Magazine, this is like a thing. I don't know if it's interviewing yourself, but I know like they've had celebrities interview other celebrities and stuff like that.
All right.
So like that's like their whole premise.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've ever seen them have somebody interview themselves.
Interesting.
It's nice. He called his own farm nice.
Yeah, I love farms. Yeah, no, it's literally him interviewing himself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is I don't know, it's very strange.
Yeah.
Very strange. So, two things that have come out of this interview, and I'm sure that by the time that we post this, more stuff will be parsed from this very strange premise. Is number one, we'll talk about the biggest thing so far right now is that he says at some point in the interview that his album, because of the internet, is like our generation's OK Computer and will be looked upon as such probably after he dies. He's like, basically that he is not getting the flowers that he deserves currently, but he will once people catch up. That he is, because of the internet, is one of the more influential, especially in hip hop albums. And I just wanted us to kind of address that a little bit for a couple of reasons. Number one, I think it's safe to say that OK Computer's in your top 5, top 3 albums ever.
Yeah, I will very safely say top 5, absolutely. Top 3 most days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
All genres. We're going all in.
Just period. Just
Right.
in music. So, how does that hit your ears?
Not well. About as good as the internet hit my ears.
Yeah.
Be
Be careful now, because his fans,
I know. Well,
they think everything that this motherfucker does is...
Look, I'm right there with you, man. I'm a fan. I consider myself a fan of Childish Gambino. But let's be real. That album is not OK Computer. I mean, nothing is. I think that's such a BS comparison in the first place.
Yeah, I think that's probably the worst part about the claim. It's so bold because it's like nothing that Radiohead has done.
No, nothing they've done has come close. I mean, some people would say Kid A, but they're wrong.
They're wrong.
But yeah, no, I think it's a self-sabotaging statement. Period. Yeah. Like, I understand where he's coming from with that. Where he's trying to say it is going to be respected later on down the line.
Yeah.
You guys aren't getting it yet. And I think that's been sort of his feeling around that album since it came out.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't this critical darling. It wasn't this, I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I don't think it was this like smash hit. I know singles did well, and it wasn't ignored, but
no, it was one of the more well-received albums in his catalog, but that's compared to the rest of his albums, which were not very well received.
Right.
So, in context, at that time, it was the most well-received album that he had put out, but all the rest of his shit was dunked on. So
yeah.
It wasn't a world-altering thing. It came out and people were like, "Oh, this is actually good," as opposed to the other albums which weren't.
Yeah, and I will say some of that critical harshness is probably coming from a place of them not knowing where to place him. Because they didn't really respect him as a full-on musical artist at that time.
Yeah.
I'll give him that credit. But at the same time, I think he thinks this album is something far bigger than it is.
He must, because of the screenplay that came with
it.
And
it is so pretentious.
Oh yeah,
incredibly pretentious.
Yeah. Did you see that? Sorry, this is a little off subject, but did you see that clip of Francis Ford Coppola talking about pretension when it comes to filmmakers? It's a really cool clip.
No.
I saw it on Twitter yesterday or whatever, but it deals in this kind of like the more ambitious you are with a project, it basically makes the tightrope smaller and smaller between nailing it and being considered pretentious.
Absolutely pretentious, yeah.
And that just goes hand in hand with this, because obviously Donald had a very ambitious idea of what the album.
Yeah, he had a real vision for it. It's a concept,
right? And just he didn't nail it.
Yeah,
and so then it comes off as pretentious because you have to be so self-aware in what you're doing. And then you have to nail it, and you have to nail it on all fronts.
Sure.
And if you don't,
there can be no doubt.
Yeah, it falls flat, and then it's looked on as pretentious, which it is.
Well, it's very clear that he gets it, and he knows what he was going for.
Yeah.
And I think it's very hard for an artist to stand back and go, "Okay, I see why this didn't work."
Yeah.
When it's something that close and that well thought out on his own end,
I have that with some of my own songs where I go, why
doesn't this work?
Yeah, why didn't it land the way I thought it was going to? I just knew that it was going to work, and then I look at this my top listened to songs, and it's like,
nope.
Why didn't it work? I thought it would work.
Yeah.
So I get that
from
an artistic standpoint, but again, man, it's like you gotta have. It seems like he didn't have the self-awareness at the time, and he don't got it. He still don't got it.
It seems like he has less self-awareness now, and it's to be expected because he's only seen more and more success,
and he deserves it.
Absolutely.
He is a very, very talented artist.
He should absolutely have all of the confidence in the world.
Yeah.
He's Atlanta is groundbreaking TV. One of the best shows I've ever seen.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that sitting here today. It is incredible TV. Check it out if you haven't yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, that alone is something special.
Yeah. Awaken My Love is
Awaken
a great
My
album.
Love, incredible. Yeah.
The joint he put out after that, again, another really weird, you could tell he was like, you'll get this later.
Yeah.
This is the album didn't have an
your
album
kids will love
cover,
it.
and all it had was run times or timestamps rather for the track listing.
Yeah. And
it's I don't know, man. It's a difference between challenging your audience and just making it so hard for what do I say to you when I'm trying to?
I like 312
yeah.
94.
It's I don't know. Sometimes it's you don't have to be that. You don't have to go that far to get your point across. But
yeah,
and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. He is not that good of a rapper.
No.
And so this idea that he's this underrated, underappreciated MC,
no, but he's very clearly an artist.
Yes,
he has an artistic vision. He has a ton of talent. He's not the greatest rapper.
No,
and I think it's proving in dividends the further away he steps away from rap itself, strictly rap, just hip hop, where kind of his music started. I personally, the better it is.
Yeah.
The more he expands that lens into being this larger thing, the better it becomes.
Yeah.
So, I think that the proof's in the pudding.
Yeah. I'm not going to stop a guy from hyping himself up. It just comes off as ridiculous when you hear something like that, and then you go I told you this. It made me go back and listen to Because the Internet again, because I was
maybe that's what he wanted.
I was just about to say mission accomplished, man. I went back and listened to it, and I was like, maybe I missed something.
Yeah.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'll have a different perspective on it. That was a long time ago, and I'm a different person now. Yeah. And I listened to it, and I was just like, it hits my ears exactly the same. It's good. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's fun. There is the hallmarks of any childish Gambino album, silly bars, cringeworthy stuff, but then you get some big, really good singles, catchy choruses. You're like, man, if he had just done this the whole time, you might have a classic on your hands, but instead he falls into his vices.
Mm-hmm.
His vices.
Vices.
I'll give you the vices. And so it's the same as all his other albums. So
yeah.
You can include a screenplay. You can write a whole movie. Motherfucker, you can write a whole TV series based around it. It doesn't change the fact that album is okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's not OK Computer.
It's not OK Computer.
No. So, and that is the final word on that.
Okay.
I don't want to hear it from any Donald Glover or Childish Gambino fans. Childish Gambino.
Sounds pretty childish to me.
Definitely top 5 worst rap names of all time.
Oh yeah, well, and it's obviously notorious how that came about in the first place with the name generator.
Makes it even worse.
Yeah,
makes it even worse. There's nothing charming about that.
It goes.
I hate it.
It's something that sounds like something you would say as a teenager to make your name sound cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you're not trying, but really you're trying really hard.
Really hard, yeah.
That's how it comes off now.
Yeah.
Childish
Gambino is a Xbox gamer tag.
Yeah.
That is not a name to be
Childish Gambino 420.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we'll just leave that. We don't even talk about that.
Let's leave it. Let's leave it. Let's move on.
Yeah. One more thing before we get out of here. Oh, you want to do the cheers? Oh, yeah, we got to. Right.
We have one more thing.
Yeah. Let's get into that.
I should say we have the Dunes Brewing Tripel, which, let me give you a quick read here, is their Belgian triple. It is described as pleasant, peppery phenols blend with a dark hop background, yielding a sneaky high ABV that will leave you wanting more. ABV is 10%.
I was about to say, is that really that sneaky?
Well, they're saying it's so smooth that it is sneaky. Oh, yeah. Here, I'll let you pour this one.
Okay. Thank you.
A thank you.
Swoop. Look at
Looks
that.
kind of light, right?
Nice little golden brown.
Oh,
Or not golden. Brown. Golden. Drinking my beer like it's golden. Drinking my beer like it's golden, golden. Living my life like it's golden, golden.
Yummy, yummy.
Let's disrupt that a little bit. I'll tell you about the lady that came in. She was from Belgium. I gave her a West Mall, and
Did you get really really threatened by her?
no, she was a very pleasant person, but
That's nice.
I was threatened by the fact that I poured this beer out I poured it into the right glassware. We're notorious for the right glassware at Red Light.
Sure.
But she brought it over to her table, and there wasn't enough head on it. And yeah, I mean, it's just one of those things where you're like, man, fuck, I fucked up. And what am I supposed to do? Shake it, disrupt it a little bit. She took, excuse me, a coaster. She was like, do you have like cardboard or anything? They're like, took a coaster, like ripped it up, and then like used that and like disrupted it so that she could get that head on it. So that was I don't know, it was embarrassing.
Hope it was a new coaster.
Yeah, I gave her a new coaster. I don't think she would have given a shit.
Yeah.
Honestly, if she was like, I think she probably would have been like, do you mind disrupting this? If I was just and just swirled it around, just move some raspberries in it, I don't think she would give a shit.
Cheers to Belgium.
To Belgium. Ooh.
That's not sneaky in any way.
There's nothing sneaky about that at all.
Kicks you right in the back of the throat.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that at the end. Well, let's get this. Let's talk about this last thing.
Okay,
Jim. So, Twitter.com,
I've heard of it.
which apparently is being beaten by Truth Media, Truth Social.
I saw that. Yeah.
Man, they are kicking Twitter's ass.
Twitter
apparently.
is
A ghost town.
Ghost town.
They are not getting nearly the interactions that Trump's social media. Oh shit.
Oh.
Hold on, we got it.
Oh.
There it is.
There we go.
Not getting nearly the interactions that Trump's social media is getting. So I don't know. You guys might want to stop retweeting on the old Twitter sphere and pop on over to Truth Media or Truth Social. I don't know.
Whatever. Yeah, whatever it is.
So, the ye old Twitter sphere. God, how do I even get into this? Elon Musk. I don't know if you guys
heard of him.
You heard of that guy?
Yeah.
Have you heard of this guy, Elon Musk?
This guy,
Elon Musk. He does. What does he do?
What is he? A beaver?
What is it like? What does he stink? Elon Musk.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah. Try some Axe.
Try some Axe. He did something which is I surprised he hadn't done this sooner, honestly. He bought 9.2 shares of Twitter stock, which essentially made him the biggest shareholder in the company, which was already controversial enough because of the way that Elon uses Twitter.
Sure.
A lot of people have criticized the fact that he is so powerful that a single tweet from him can move literally billions of dollars when it comes to his stock and how his companies are viewed in the court of public opinion and just in general. He can say one thing and change lives.
Sure. Yeah. He's got that sway.
So it's already controversial enough that he owned that much of Twitter stock. And then only a couple of days later, he was made, he was elected, quote unquote, to their board.
Yeah. Which means he has, some say over what they do moving forward.
Yeah.
Now, this is, from what I have read, only a 2-year stay.
A lot can happen in 2 years.
And he's limited as far as how much more he can acquire of Twitter. So there's a limit. He can't become, just
the king of Twitter.
The king of Twitter. Yeah, no, he can't do that. He can't buy out everyone, every stockholder of Twitter. So there are provisions in place to keep him from doing that. But
I don't know, man.
9% is a surprisingly a lot of ownership of Twitter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he essentially owns 10% of the company.
Costs billions of dollars.
Yeah. Well, and what does that mean to him? What does that mean to these people who can, I mean, they don't even think of billions anymore. Like that kind of money.
Billions the new million.
Yeah. Just like he has and when you say unfathomable, I mean that in every sense of the word, in every letter of that word. He has an unfathomable amount of money.
Yeah.
You can't. It's trying to imagine the distance between yourself and the next planet.
Pretty much.
You can't put into words. You can't describe. You can't even visualize how much money he has.
You couldn't possibly fathom that amount of money.
And I don't know. I mean, I don't know. When you see these arguments about what billionaires should and shouldn't do with their money, and people are like, eat the rich and all this other jazz, I don't think it's controversial to look at a person who has more money than you can wrap your brain around and say, you should give some of that to people who don't have it. I don't think that I just don't see that as a controversial opinion. I don't even think it's a political ideology.
Mm-hmm.
I just think that if you are in a position to help, there's people, I mean, you could have a couple $100s in your pocket, and if you know that you don't need all of it at the time and you buy somebody a meal, you've helped somebody less fortunate than you.
This is why you're not a billionaire, Mario. You have to understand the vast majority of the people who are multi-billionaires are that way because they have this obsession with collecting money and hoarding money. They're Smaug. They're Smaug in The Hobbit, which you don't know about yet, but you will at some point.
Jesus. I know who Smaug is.
No, sure you do. Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, I watched him. For some reason, they used him as the motion capture for a snake or a dragon or whatever.
He's a dragon.
Okay. Why did they use him as the motion capture?
I don't know.
Dragons don't exist. Why do you need a human being to mocap that?
I don't know.
I guess he needed to do it so that he could get into the right headspace for the performance.
I don't think you need to do that to think I'm a dragon. You imagine dragons. There's an entire band about this.
Yeah, that's why they're who they are.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being a dragon until I saw Benedict Cumberbatch lying on his belly. This is gonna, and then he didn't get shit for it.
No, they The Hobbit got nothing.
Nothing. Gets no love.
No, I think that's. We'll talk about it later.
All right.
I like the Hobbits. Okay, I like the Hobbits. Yeah. I'm a Hobbit apologist.
Hobbapologist.
Hobbapologist. I study the hobbits.
He's a hobbitologist. So this is concerning. I think that people should be concerned about this. I think that this isn't something that should be just swept under the rug. I think people should really probably, keep an eye on these sorts of things. It's not like, what are we going to do about it as private citizens? I don't know. But what I'm saying is,
write
like,
a complaint.
Excuse me. He's not on your side, okay? No matter how much he shit posts like you and your friends on 4chan, he's not on your side.
He's just like me.
And he never will be. He doesn't even know what side he's on. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't... None of it matters at the end of the day. He does things on a whim. He just decides, and then he does things. And one day he may wake up and decide, I do have enough money to help all poor people on
Sure.
this planet.
It's certainly a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Because like most recently, I remember the headlines about him, giving internet in whatchamacallit.
Yeah.
Yeah. In Ukraine.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So yeah. So I'm not saying he's like, well, I don't know. I'm not going to say if he is or isn't an evil human being. I don't know. What I'm saying is, like, he has done good things. He has helped people. That's documented fact that
Sure.
he has helped in ways. He obviously could help in way more ways. That's also a documented
sure.
fact
Yeah.
that there's way more that he could be doing. But you give credit where it's due.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he does. He's so. It seems like he's so impulsive that, like, he could one day just wake up and be like, I'm gonna end world hunger, and then he just does it.
Yeah.
You just wake up one day and he's like, I've put together this program where, like, everybody has 3 square meals a day. So, and then he just goes back to shit posting, and you're like, what? What?
Yeah, he seems to have a bit of the Kanye brain.
Yeah.
Where it's just like he has these huge ambitions, and they won't all necessarily go anywhere, but a few of them will.
Yeah.
And he has enough money to make those things happen.
I'm sure that's why those two get along.
Oh yeah.
Those conversations have to be maddening.
Oh my God, it's like 2 Hollywood execs on coke at 3:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
Like,
Just,
have you ever thought about? Can you get water from sand?
have you ever tried? I don't know. I've never tried. Have you ever squeezed it hard enough? You never know. Have you ever tried? I've never known. I haven't tried.
Let's try.
Let's try right now. This sucks.
Okay.
It sucks.
What sucks about it?
It's just like no one man should have all that power. Speaking of Kanye, it just shouldn't be like, he just shouldn't be able to do something like that. I don't know, man. We're at a point now where, like, this shit is over and done with, bro. In 10, 15 years, there's going to be 3 companies per industry. There's going to be a monopoly on all of it. And, we're going to have like 3 or 4 billionaires who run the whole show. And there's just going to be
You
this...
act like that's not the case already.
No, well, it's not yet, because there's still this illusion of some kind of capitalist, competitive nature to the market when there's not.
Yeah.
And we will soon find this out once PlayStation or Sony and Microsoft own everything in gaming, and Viacom, HBO, and Disney own everything in entertainment, and then telecommunications is owned by AT&T and T-Mobile.
Yeah.
And then fucking Elon buys AT&T and T-Mobile, and then Jeff Bezos buys everything else.
Yeah. Well, the government has to step in at some point.
Well, you say that, but at what point? They let shit like this happen all the time. They've let these companies merge, and then you see the government will step in and be like, "Well, hold on, the 3 of you can't merge," and they're like, "Okay," and then like 5 years later, they merge anyway.
Yeah.
And then you're like, "Wait, didn't the government?" And they're like, "Shh."
We will make 5 shell companies to give you the illusion of having a choice. Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah, you
true.
think AT&T and these big companies are just like letting Cricket use their towers because they're just like these like
nice guys.
benign,
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Cricket gives them a little bit of money every
little
month.
kickback from Mr. Cricket.
Yeah. And I think that's where these like identity politics become really dangerous too, because you're gonna have people saying, let's not have the government step in when it should because we're about small government.
Yeah.
And then
or
just because they like Elon Musk because he's a champion of free speech. Simple as that. He stands on that platform and then you go, well, I love free speech too, so I don't care if he's going to become this ultra powerful force, stronger than anything.
We can't silence him, so we have to just let him do whatever he wants.
Sure. Well, and I'm reading this Washington Post article here, and there's obviously a lot of people who work for Twitter currently that are afraid about the direction of the company moving forward.
Exactly.
Just based on their them not aligning with his politics and the way he carries himself online, and pointing out this discrepancy between the standards that the company holds them at as far as their social media use versus him, where he's been very shitposty in the past. He said a lot of things that rub people the wrong way, and some of these quotes, I think they're anonymous, but a lot of them are saying, well, if I were to have said something like that, I'd get fired.
Right.
Or I'd at least be up to HR.
Right.
Is that going to be the same with him?
Fuck no.
No, of course not. Of course not.
No.
So, there's obvious, and I mean, that's never the case though, right? The higher you go, shit rolls downhill.
Right.
So, of course, they're not going to be held to the same standard. That's true of everywhere. That doesn't make it right. But it's to be expected. Yeah. Unfortunately. So anyway, also according to this article, he's going to be holding an AMA. So, but like,
why hold an AMA? Why wouldn't he just have it held on Twitter?
Well, that's what he's doing. It's going to be like an official,
an AMA on
an official Twitter AMA.
I think AMA, and I think I always think Reddit.
Of course, yeah. Those things are synonymous. But yeah, I think this is officially being hosted by Twitter to sort of discuss his involvement.
I'm sure he's going to be forthright about his intentions, his motives.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure this is going to go off without a hitch. Yeah.
You say that, but I guarantee stocks are going to rise after this.
Well, you might want to jump into some Twitter stock, I guess.
Okay. I think it's too late. I think it's already pretty high.
Yeah. You'd be surprised.
Really?
You should. When's the last time you ever looked at?
February 31st.
You'd be surprised at how affordable shares of some of these big companies are.
Yeah.
You're not going to make a ton of money off of buying a couple shares.
Yeah. Well, it's down right now.
$48 a share. That's nothing.
Yeah.
That's why he can. I mean, that's nothing right now.
Yeah.
And this is honestly the perfect time to buy when it's down.
And I guarantee it's because there's so much uncertainty.
Yeah, but that's exactly what happens with everything. When Elon gets his hands on anything, it's all this uncertainty because he's shoot from the hip kind of guy.
Right.
Flies off the handle, says some crazy shit, comes back, tries to apologize after people have lost $12 billion. Maybe we shouldn't buy any Twitter stock. I don't know. I don't like where this is going, though.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that. Doesn't matter, though, because we can't control it. The only thing that we can control is how we felt about these beers. But before we get into that, we have to do the cheers of the week.
Cheers of the week.
So, Adam. Obesius Rodriguez.
I just like when they do that, yeah.
That's good. That's good. I always love when they do that.
Yeah.
What's your cheers, bro?
My cheers of the week is to Remedy Entertainment. Cheers. If you're not a gamer, I'll let you in. Remedy Entertainment is a Finnish video game studio known for the classic classic. Max Payne 1 and 2.
Oh, yeah.
They went on to make more great games, including Alan Wake, which is getting a remake. But I shouldn't go without saying this. Control, which is a current gen game. Well, technically last gen, but they ported it to current gen. Incredible game. Go out and play it. If you've been a fan of Alan Wake or the Max Payne series, definitely check it out. Really, really surprised me with how awesome that game is. So, that being said, the reason I'm cheersing them today is because they just announced that they're remaking Max Payne 1 and 2. It's going to be its own collection together, which is awesome.
Yep.
They were able to work a deal out with Rockstar Games, which they made the original Max Paynes with.
Yeah.
So with those two together, I just am full of hope and happiness. They're doing it in the same system as Control.
Uh-huh.
So it's going to look incredible. It's going to play incredible. I'm just so jazzed.
So jazzed.
Because Max Payne is 100% precisely my shit.
Yeah.
Neo-noir, very dark, bullet time. Just chef's kiss. Yeah. One of those games for me growing up that I just absolutely fell in love with. Yeah. So, very excited for it.
All right. That is exciting.
Yeah.
Those games are amazing. Max Payne 3. God damn. What a game. Underrated. Even though it was well received, underrated.
Yeah. Well,
right?
nobody played it.
Right.
But it's an incredible game.
So good.
I will say that the Remedy didn't do that one. Rockstar did.
Okay.
But obviously the foundation was laid by Remedy.
Yeah. You wouldn't have Max Payne 3 without Remedy to
Correct.
have have given us those first two games, which are so good.
Yep.
The movies? Or the movie?
Movie, yeah.
I don't know what it is about movie studios, generic white protagonists.
Choosing Mark Wahlberg
Mark
for
Wahlberg.
everything.
Yeah, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
They think that this man can do everything.
Yeah. Well, we have to do the Uncharted movie on One Reel In.
Oh.
I mean, the show was made for Uncharted.
Absolutely.
The movie.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
God, I can't believe we haven't done it.
We should do Sonic and Sonic 2.
Have you?
I haven't seen Sonic 1 yet. I know you have. So
it's good.
And they say Sonic 2 is even better.
If Sonic 2 is indeed better than the first one, then we're not going to have a lot of controversial things to say about these movies.
All right.
They're fun, family-filled romps. Just a nice time at the movies.
That's all I need.
Just a delight.
Yeah.
An absolute delight.
Okay.
All right. We got a lot of One Reel In to do.
That'll fit perfectly next to our Ma Rainey's review.
Yeah.
All the classics.
Well, we had an idea and we didn't really stick to it, did we?
No,
we didn't.
Well, it's been too long since we've done a One Reel In, so we need to get back on that.
Yeah, we do. Okay. My cheers of the week goes to Drug Church.
Drug Church.
New York-based hardcore band. I think they're from New York. I think they're from Albany. Look that up for me while I talk out of my ass.
That's upstate.
They're on tour right now, touring their latest album, Hygiene, and they had a show here at Will's Pub.
They are from Albany.
All right, cool. Infamous dive bar, shithole, great place.
Love it.
I mean shithole with all the love and respect.
All respect.
And it was. I shout out to Steve and shout out to Cliff and shout out to our boy Rob. We went all together and had a fucking wonderful time. They were great band, and all of their openers were great too. Very rare that every single opener fucking crushes it.
Yeah.
Every single one of the bands, and forgive me, I can't remember, 3 different band names that I'd never heard of a night before.
Sure.
I can't. But if you look up the set list, I guarantee you, if you like Drug Church, you will. I say this just having seen their live show. which is obviously going to skew your opinion because the live show, as long as you put on a good show.
It's a big asterisk.
Yes. And I haven't gone and listened to all these bands or whatever, so I can't speak on that. But I will say that every band that opened for Drug Church was amazing. Drug Church comes out, and they were incredible. Show's awesome. People are getting rowdy. White people doing white people stuff. They're in the pit. They're fucking throwing fists at each other and stuff. It was a wild night. It was a wild night. I stepped back and I was like against the wall, kind of like, yeah, this is dope. I'm taking in the scenery. I'm having a good time. And
I'll watch you guys.
Yeah. As soon as somebody got close, I'm like pushing them off me. I'm like, fucking, you keep that shit over there. This guy's jumping off the stage and stuff. Fully encouraged, by the way. So it was a good time. It was a good time. So if you dig hardcore music, I would say some would argue that they're not even really that hardcore. They're more of like a
hard rock.
Yeah, honestly, they're in the vein of like hard rock or like like a offshoot of like 70s punk, not like speed punk, but like the more melodic.
Yeah. Well, that's something as an absolute newcomer to Drug Church. I only knew about them once you told me you're going to the concert.
Yeah.
So I looked them up real quick and listened to a bit of the first album, and I was surprised by how melodic and how not hardcore it was.
Yeah.
Because I was expecting a bit more growling, a bit more like double bass drums, things like that. But no. There's definitely some sweet melody in there.
Very much so.
Yeah.
It's the kind of punk that's my favorite, where it hides beneath the facade of, aggressive band names, aggressive marketing. The album titles and song titles are insane.
Some of it almost sounded a little shoegazy.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the best kind.
Yeah.
So it was a great time. So that is my cheese of the week. All right. We got to review these beers and get the freak out of here. So let's do this, motherfuckers. From Dunes Brewing.
We
have their black lager. And they don't have like official names for these beers, right? They're just
types. They're there are some official names, but these specifically are only called what they are.
All right.
Literally. Yeah.
The black lager and the triple.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the black lager. Obi, what'd you think?
Very strong 4.5 for me.
All right.
It is very toasty. Almost like a almost brown ale-ish to me.
Yeah.
Had a lot of that sort of sweet, almost molassy, very, very pleasant. I liked it a lot. Almost some coffee notes. Like it reminded me of that palate.
Yeah.
So if you're into that, I highly recommend. Check it out.
Nice. Fuck, man. I hate you. I was gonna give it a 4.5 too. So fuck, I'm just gonna stick with
fine.
it. I'm just gonna stick.
You can agree.
I agree.
Okay.
4.5. Nice, toasty, malty, bready.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really good. It's just a very solid black lager. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
The Tripel.
Tripel.
The Tripel. Obi.
This one for me is it's a 3.5 for me. It's 3.5 for me. I say that because it really bashes you over the palate, and maybe that's what they're going for, just a very bombastic flavor, and alcohol content. But it is just, it's a little too sweet. Thank you. And just if there's one thing I can say about it, it's just a little too much. It's just a little too much for me.
Yeah,
it's not very complex. It's just it is a sledgehammer.
Yeah,
which can work for some people, but I would like a little bit more complexity with my triple.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a 3. I think that you have to give them credit for the attempt. I think that it's not terrible. I just think that it's just, I don't think that the alcohol content is nearly as subtle as they believe it is. So
it almost tastes like a cocktail.
Yeah,
like it's kind of syrupy.
Yeah, very, very well. I mean, triples usually have like that candy, like very sweet candiness to them in the first place, but usually it's balanced out pretty well, and that booziness doesn't really come through on it. This one, it's just kind of front and center.
Yeah,
and kind of like it's almost like this sticky, syrupy, just too sweet, and so yeah, I just got to give it a 3.
Yeah,
got to give it a 3. I think I don't know how their lager or their IPA was. You had
I did. Yeah, I had their blonde. Mm-hmm. I had their IPA, and I had their double IPA.
Okay.
The blonde, out of those, the blonde was probably my favorite because it is so drinkable, bright, weedy. I really liked it. The IPA wasn't hoppy enough for me. The double was, again, a little bit too sweet. Edged a little bit to the too sweet. So that's kind of my guide for you guys if you're going to check out Dunes for the first time. Actually, out of all of them, I think I did like the black lager the most.
Sounds like it.
It was, yeah, this is sort of the best balanced and overall like most complex and flavorful out of everything I've had there so far.
I would return for that, and I am interested in their double IPA.
Yeah.
So I would definitely go for that double IPA. I'm glad that they even tried this.
Sure. Yeah. You got to applaud it.
Yeah. You gotta go for it. Because let's be honest, like a lot of these breweries are resting on their laurels with an IPA, a double IPA, and a lager. Like
sure.
That's it. And if your lagers are not, like super up to snuff, if you don't just got like a hang your hat Pilsner kind of thing, then you got to get ambitious.
Yeah.
So either keep it simple and make those things perfect, or get wild.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the attempt. And I'm not saying it was terrible, but it's all right.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Agreed. The thing about triples is like you're competing against like some really
yeah.
You know what I mean?
There's
like
stiff competition.
Yeah, it's tough to put yourself into that arena.
Well, it's like trying to make a Hefeweizen. You know, like Hefeweizens are tried and true. Like
right.
There are some like stalwart, like unquestionable Hefeweizens out there. So you're going up against that. So either you're going to do something interesting and unique about it, or you're going to try to compete with people who've been doing it for hundreds of years.
Right.
So,
listen to the rest of you brewers out there.
It's it's good. It's good for you guys to swing for the fences, though. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I agree.
always.
I agree.
All right, think we got it?
I know we got it.
Well, then let's get the fuck out of here. This has been the One Beer In podcast for myself, Marco Dupa, for Adam Obesius Rodriguez.
Dunes.
Thank you guys for listening. Drink delicious beer and have yourself a beautiful evening.
We love you.